So thank you so much for joining me. This is the second edition to our Harry Potter mini-series of meditations. You can absolutely do these meditations out of order. You don't have to go by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can just do whichever one you wish. So to begin, I would like you to find a nice, comfortable position. A very calming position where you will not be disturbed. And then take a nice, full, deep breath in, letting it all go. And just let your eyes drift closed. Let's take 2 more nice, deep breaths. Deep breath in, filling yourself up entirely. And exhaling out any tension and stress. Nice big inhale, expanding your belly and lungs, moving the oxygen all the way up into your head, and then releasing, letting everything go. You imagine Dobby, the house elf, appearing at the top of your head, and he puts his hands on either side. He doesn't place them directly on you, but just on your aura. And he creates a golden glowing light from his hands. This relaxes you immediately. You feel this light travel down your body, taking tension out from between your eyebrows, your jaw, your tongue drops down in your mouth, relaxes and takes the tension out from your neck, your shoulders, down your chest, and over your abdomen. This relaxation then goes down both arms and into your hands, down your spine, and it releases every muscle either side, all the way down to your hips. Dobby works this relaxation into your legs. You feel your thighs release, your calf muscles, your ankles, your feet. This golden light then comes out of the soles of your feet and your toes, and continues going down into the earth below, grounding you down. You set your intention for this meditation to be for your highest and greatest good only. Dobby then clicks his fingers, and you have been transported to the bedroom in the Dursley household. You now have your own room upstairs, and Hedwig is in a large cage in the corner, so elegant and regal. You take a seat at the desk in the window and look out, daydreaming about Hogwarts. You see a blue dot in the far distance. It's coming closer and closer to you. You realize that there is a small blue car flying towards your window. You blink twice, wondering if this is real. It sure is. It stops directly outside of your window. You open your window and Ron rolls down the passenger side. You ask him, what is he doing? He replies that he is taking you on an adventure. You grab your trunk from the side of the bed and put it in the boot of the car. You then get Hedwig and put his cage carefully in the back of the car. You then climb into the front seat yourself and shut the door. What a freeing experience. Ron tells you to buckle up, and you take off into the air. You fly over the houses of the town and into the countryside. You could never imagine flying over rooftops and treetops in a car of all things, but there is a first time for everything. It's exhilarating, exciting, different. There is something to be said when you have the comfort of a warm fabric seat in a heated car, but you're experiencing the view of a bird. You fly over fields and fields of grazing animals and interwoven treetops. It really is beautiful and very calming. Ron tells you to take a nice deep breath and let any thoughts disappear, and just let your imagination enjoy the ride. You arrive at a funny-looking quaint cottage. There's pigs in a paddock in the front. Ron very carefully lands the car. You unbuckle your seatbelt and climb out. You stretch your arms and legs and thank Ron for the drive. He smiles and says, "Come on then." He leads you to the front door and opens it. Inside is a large sink full of dishes washing themselves. There is an incredibly cozy fireplace, a long wooden table for many delicious meals, chairs for you to sink into and read for hours. There are 2 large knitting needles in the air, knitting a scarf all by themselves. It's magical, literally. Ron tells you to look out of the window, and you see a huge barn owl is flying towards you with letters in its mouth. It lands on the open windowsill. Ron takes the letters and thanks the owl, who then takes off. He hands you your letter, and he opens his. It's a shopping list of items you will need this year for Hogwarts. Ron asks if you are ready to go. Go where? You ask. Why, Diagon Alley, of course. You both put on your black cloaks, and he leads you to the open fireplace. He picks up a handful of ash from a large pot and stands in the center of the fireplace. He tells you that you have to be very specific with the fireplace as to where you would like to go. He shouts, "Diagon Alley," and throws the ash at the floor. A puff of big green smoke engulfs him, and he disappears. That was really quite impressive. It's your turn. You have nothing to fear. These are all new exciting ways to travel. You take yourself a handful of ash, and you shout, "Diagon Alley," as you throw it at the ground. You feel a rush of warmth from the green fire. It doesn't hurt at all. It almost feels like a warm blanket sprayed with patchouli. You feel yourself travelling forwards through a portal. There is a soft breeze blowing at you. You then arrive in a fireplace of the bookshop at Diagon Alley. It's very busy here. All the Weasley family are carrying books. Ginny has a couple of books in her cauldron. You see Hermione. She greets you with a big hug and hands you some books you will need. You thank her. You wander out of the bookshop and into the shop next door. It's filled with some very interesting and curious things. You explore around, not wanting to touch too much, but intrigued by certain pieces. Hermione is followed behind you. She picks up some things for spells to use. You purchase some clothes and herbs that you find on your list. Hermione tells you that it is time to catch the train to Hogwarts. You follow her out of the shop and Ron stops you. He tells you that he has a better way of getting to school this year. He leads you to the flying car parked at the entrance of the alley. You cannot wait to get back in the car. You load up the items that you have brought in the boot of the car. Ron has already put your trunk in, and Hedwig is safely in the cage in the back. You buckle yourselves up, and the car drives forward a few yards, and then takes off up into the air. You are flying over the centre of London. Ron pulls the flying lever all the way down as you fly up the side of Big Ben, narrowly missing the clock. Ron presses a button and you vanish in the air. No one can see you. You enjoy the movement of the life below. All the muggles moving from point A to point B, driving home from work or school. The bustle of the city slowly disappears, and the countryside starts to come into view. Ron tells you that you have to follow the train to Hogwarts as he doesn't know the way. At that moment, you see the smoke signals of a steam train in the distance. The car flies around a grouping of trees to an open clearing. You are faced with the most beautiful tall stone bridge, with the Hogwarts Express chugging along across the top of it. There is a delicate stream running underneath and in between one of the bridge openings. It is a picture postcard landscape. Ron follows alongside the Hogwarts train, and you mindfully watch the trees as the leaves rustle in the wind. Some of the branches brush the side of the car. Ron then elevates you higher, so you fly through low-hanging clouds. This is so epic and memorable. Enjoy this moment. Focus on this moment. You see Hogwarts come into view in the distance. It's just as you remember it, with its magnificent towers and surrounding forest. Ron lands the car on the green outside of the Hogwarts entrance. The car then spits out your belongings. You jump out, and the car slowly takes off in the direction of the forest. You pick up your belongings and you put them in the entrance of Hogwarts with everyone else's things. Hermione then finds you both in the corridor. She tells you that it is time for Professor McGonagall's class and to bring Hedwig and Scabbers with you. You pick up the cage and you follow Hermione and Ron down the wide open corridor. It feels so good to be back amongst these walls. You get to one of the moving staircases and say hello to the portraits on the wall as you climb the stone steps. Your class door is at the top. You enter and find your seat next to Ron. The room is filled with eager witches and wizards. Hermione raises her hand and asks Professor McGonagall if the Chamber of Secrets is real. She tells you that it is, and that it is a place that you only go if you are willing to part with your fear. She tells you that Hogwarts had 4 founders, all of which were very powerful witches and wizards, and that the chamber was created by Salazar Slytherin to see who was really deemed worthy to study magic. You take a nice deep breath, and as you exhale, the room fades away, and you find yourself sat at the top of the hill looking down at Hogwarts. It's a truly remarkable view. Hedwig is sat on a log next to you. The day is perfect. There is a clear blue sky and a fresh, calming breeze crosses your face. You are completely mindful of the view. You take a moment to really contemplate who you are, who you really want to be. You take a nice full deep breath and exhale entirely. Dobby then appears next to you. You greet him. The house elf tells you that you must not be afraid to make changes, to eliminate what holds you back, to dig deep so you can become aware of what to do in order for you to move forward for your highest and greatest good. Dobby then sits on the grass and takes some nice deep breaths with you. You sit with him following his rhythm. Dobby then clicks his fingers and smiles, and you are stood at the bottom of a large phoenix statue in a doorway in one of the Hogwarts corridors. Professor McGonagall is standing in front of you and smiles. She whispers a password under her breath, and the phoenix statue begins to turn and create a staircase. You are being lifted into the air to the next level. You feel yourself rising, expanding, moving up to the upper level. A large wooden door faces you at the top, and you push it open. You are presented with a large church-like room with endless bookcases and sleeping, snoring portraits. The sorting hat is high on the shelf. It's fast asleep. There is an open cage next to a banister attached to a spiral staircase, and perched on that banister is the most magnificent bright red phoenix. The phoenix takes a deep breath and all of a sudden ignites in a golden blaze of fire. Dumbledore appears on the stairs and tells you not to worry, that this is a phoenix and will be reborn in the ashes. You take a nice deep breath, and you then see the head of a phoenix appear from the ashes. It is healthy and happy. This is a reminder that there will always be new beginnings, new opportunities. You look out of the window in Dumbledore's tower and see that it's snowing. There are students playing and being pulled by magical sleds. You thank Dumbledore and you go back over to the large wooden door and pull it open. This time on the other side of the door is the Great Hall. It is truly magical. There are beautifully decorated trees throughout the hall, up and down on either side, and it's snowing inside. It looks so beautiful. The snow never reaches the tables. It's remarkable. It's so calming to watch. Hermione then runs down the center of the hall to greet you. You embrace. She tells you to come with her as Ron has something to show you. You follow her down the corridor and then around the corner. You enter a very large open bathroom with a center pillar of sinks in a circle. Ron hands you a book. He tells you it isn't a regular book, that he thinks it's a diary. You open up the book and see that all the pages are blank. They tell you to follow them to the library. You do so. You find a seat at the desk, and they leave you alone. You take out your feather quill and begin to write everything down that has come to mind during this meditation, that is your intention to face, to move on from, to conquer within yourself. You fill up the pages of the book. Take your time. Allow your thoughts to be poured out onto the weathered pages. You are being heard. There is no judgment, simply release and acceptance. Fill the pages with your biggest fears, situations that make you feel stuck, or anything that you feel is negative in your life that needs to change for the better, keep writing. Ron then places his hand on your shoulder. He tells you that it's time, that you must go back to the bathroom to find the chamber. You do as he says. You bring the diary and follow him back to the large bathroom. The diary has all of your thoughts imprinted on it. He tells you that you must do this alone and that you are the only one that can open the chamber. That the password is in a language that only you can speak. It's called parcel tongue. You can communicate with snakes. You close your eyes and take a deep breath and allow this language to cross your lips. The sinks then grind apart and reveal an opening in the ground. You take a deep breath and you jump into the hole and feel yourself slide down a roller coaster route deep under Hogwarts. You come out to a large underground cave and see a huge steel round door with a snake on it. You know the only way to open it is by speaking parcel tongue. So you whisper the password. The steel door creaks open and you climb through. On the other side is a humongous cave. There is a long walkway with a river flowing through openings in the cave at the end. At the end of the walkway is Fawkes, Dumbledore's red phoenix. You walk towards the phoenix. You see that there is a sword laying at its feet. It telepathically tells you to put the diary on the ground and to pick up the sword. And in order for you to shed what you have written on the pages and have new beginnings, you must stab the book with the sword. You do as Fawkes says. You place the book on the floor, pick up the sword. With one big swing, you let out a loud scream, and you easily stab through the book with an effortless force. As you do, light engulfs you entirely, and you feel a huge release of backed up emotion and negative energy. Let it all go, your fears, your heartaches, your angers. Let it all go and embrace this light. Free yourself to new opportunities. You kneel on the floor before Fawkes and drop the sword as the light fades away. The phoenix comes closer to you and allows its tears to fall on your hands. Your hands absorb the tears, and you feel yourself filling up with a tingling warmth. There is an incredibly peaceful sensation engulfing your entire being. Let yourself absorb all of this. The phoenix's tears are healing every wound, every ailment, every hurt, every pain. You thank folks from the bottom of your heart. Dobby then appears next to you and you smile. You feel amazing. You decide to take off one of your socks. You hand it to Dobby. Dobby jumps for joy. You have offered him freedom, a kind act that will not go unnoticed. Dobby smiles and clicks his fingers, and you return back in the room in which you lay or sit, and you return yourself back to your physical body, becoming aware of the time and space you are in right now, becoming aware of any sounds and smells within the room, aware of your heartbeat, your breath. Put some energy back into our muscles. Give your fingers a wriggle, give your toes a wriggle. Give some of your muscles a really good squeeze. And release and let go. If you're laying down, just place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly so you can feel your heartbeat. If you're sat up, just bring your hands into prayer. Let your thumbs rest on the center of your sternum so you can feel your heartbeat. And we're going to close with 2 nice cleansing breaths together. Take a nice big inhale. And let it go. And one more. And then slowly open your eyes and smile. Thank you very much for doing this meditation. I appreciate you always. We'll see you again soon. Have a good rest of the day. Thank you.